Fear not, for we have a refuge. You see, there is positive fear and there is negative fear. Positive fear will keep you from making or taking decisions that will otherwise jeopardize your life or those within your sphere of influence. But negative fear will keep you from pursuing what you need to pursue in life. It is petrifying. God would invite us during this trying moment not to fear because He is our refuge. My name is Kuchio from CITAM ChurchOnline. Fear not, for we have a refuge. Now, the concept of a biblical refuge dates back to the days of Moses, when God spoke to Moses to designate 6 cities as cities of refuge, 3 on the east of the Jordan and 3 on the west of the Jordan. What were they for? Cities of refuge were designated as places of safety. In the event that an Israelite committed manslaughter, he would run into this city of refuge, running from the avenger of blood, who would be a relative of the deceased person. Now, if the avenger of blood caught up with you before you go to the city of refuge, they had every right to avenge the life of their relative. That's why they were called the avenger of blood. But if you found yourself into the city of refuge before the avenger of blood caught up with you and stated your case to the elders at the city gate, and if they found that you were indeed innocent of murder, but only guilty of manslaughter, you would be admitted into the city of refuge and you would be safe from the avenger of blood. Now, your guess is as good as mine. Woe unto you if you could not run very fast. But maybe this is the reason why God allowed for 3 cities to be designated east of the Jordan and 3 west of the Jordan, so that you could run to any city that was close to you. Now, whereas in the Old Testament, the city of refuge was a physical place people would run into for shelter from the avenger of blood, the psalmist introduces God as the refuge, God as the city of refuge, that you and I don't need to run to a place particularly, but that you and I can run to a person. So in the Old Testament, the city of refuge was a place. But the psalmist does introduce a very interesting concept, that the city of refuge is no longer a place, but a person. Psalm 46, verse 1 to 3. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging, we will not fear. I began by saying that there is a good sense to fear, and there's a bad sense to fear. There's a good side to fear, and there's a bad side to fear. The kind of fear that will keep you from making foolish, unfortunate decisions is a good kind of fear. For instance, if fear would keep you from crossing an extremely busy highway because you might lose your life, that is good fear. The fear that will keep you from making wrong decisions that will otherwise endanger your life and those of your loved ones is good fear. But the kind of fear that will keep you from making any decision, the kind of fear that will keep you from venturing out of your house lest you are knocked down by a car, that is negative fear. The kind of fear that will drive you into depression, the kind of fear that will drive you into self-destruction, that is not a good kind of fear. So fear could be both positive or negative. The psalmist does tell us that that God is our refuge and our strength and an ever-present help in trouble. As the world goes through a very trying moment, we have words of comfort from the Bible that truly God is that city of refuge that you and I need to run into, regardless of your theological persuasions, whether you are religious or irreligious, whether you believe in God or do not believe in God. God is a refuge that you and I can run into. Now you see, whereas the city of refuge in the Old Testament was a place where you could run into and be safe, God on this other end, who is now our city of refuge, is a person who we run into, and he just doesn't shield us from the troubles of the world, but he gives us strength. The Bible says God is our refuge and strength. He's the kind of refuge that when you run into, he does not just provide safety, he provides strength as well. Because you and I need strength for each and certain day. None of us can predict how tomorrow will turn out in the face of coronavirus. None of us can predict whether we'll be at work or be at home. None of us can predict whether you'll have a job or not have a job. None of us can predict whether you'll be marooned at home or not. None of us can predict whether there'll be a complete lockdown or a partial lockdown, wherever you're listening to us from. But we have this assurance that God is our refuge and strength. You need strength from heaven above. You see, one of the things that this coronavirus pandemic has caused us and should cause us as a world to realize is that in and of ourselves, we do not have the strength to face a single day. That without God from the picture, you and I cannot face tomorrow confidently and competently. We need God to face each and every passing day. And God invites us into his city for safety, but for strength. In the Old Testament, people only ran into the city of refuge for safety. But in these days that you and I are living in, we can run to this city of refuge, who is God himself, not just for safety, but for strength as well. I believe that the world will emerge a stronger world after we have overcome coronavirus. I believe that you will emerge stronger after this challenge of coronavirus. But it depends on whether you will process these things in the city of refuge or outside the city of refuge. You see, to process these times outside the city of refuge is to endanger yourself. Because there is not just one avenger, but there are many avengers outside the city of refuge. There is despair, there is discouragement, there is disillusionment, there is despondency outside the city of refuge. But inside the city of refuge, there is hope, there is peace, there is safety, there is strength. So why stay outside the city and endanger yourself? Yes, yet you can actually move inside the city and prepare yourself for another day, for another season. God is our refuge and strength in times of trouble. The beauty about this refuge is that he is present and he is powerful. He is not just present, he is powerful as well, because he is available, and when we run to him, he will give us the wherewithal to face this situation. I pray that you and I will face the challenge that is before us as a nation, as a people, as a globe, with the strength that God gives. Once again, I invite you to join us in this conversation. Please let us know how you are interacting with this conversation from our social media platforms. We are happy to know how this message has impacted you. My name is Kuchio from CITAM ChurchOnline. God is our refuge and strength. Therefore, we will not fear. God bless you.